relate. They can understand and they can talk to you. Because the worst thing for somebody that's struggling with an addiction to have to go through is to be in a situation where they're struggling and they call somebody, they need help, and the person can't relate, or the person minimizes what it is that the person, or I'm sitting here and I want to go on my computer and watch some porn right now. Oh my God. Or whatever it is that you're struggling with, and you call that person and they make it seem like, well, what's the big deal? Just don't, aren't you tired of that yet? Well, why do you want to do that? And that, it is very important and vital that we have those people in our lives who can support us, because we're going to have naysayers. We're going to have the naysayers. We're going to have the people who don't always believe in us and aren't always going to be there to help us. And so when we have, you're going to have the people that are going to be cheerleaders. You're going to have the hecklers, and then you're going to have those people who are going to be the commentators, because they are going to commentate everything that goes on in your life. They're going to be there to commentate on it. You're going to have your cheerleaders, and then you're going to have the hecklers, and you got to know when and who each person is. And so, life is what it is. And we got to be able to learn how to live life on its terms, because as recovering people in recovery, for a long time, we try to make life live on our terms. And we tried to run from life. And we tried to adjust life to fit our conditions. And we can't do that. In recovery, we learn that, you know what? Now we got to adjust our life to life. That means if life tells me to go right, I need to go right. I can't make life bend and go left because I want it to go left. And so, because life has changed for us, and now we're living in reality and not no longer trying to live in our own illusions of what reality should be, we need the kind of people in our life that helps us to see the reality for what it is. So, Dr. Adebo, are you still there?
Yes, I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you. Let me
Okay,
bring you.
so
Let me bring us in so that you can know I'm here with you.
okay, no,
Yes.
so what I wanted to ask you was, in your experience, and so some of the things that we talk about here when we talk about necessary for addicts or
Yes.
people that are in recovery, a lot of the coping skills are skills that just your everyday person can use, but
Yes, that's true.
they're a lot more important for people that are in recovery, because we're playing with a shorter deck. I hate to say it that way, but we're playing with a shorter deck.
Mm.
We don't have the full deck. And when I say we have a shorter deck, we're at a disadvantage, because we've already done so much damage to ourselves. We have already created so much harm to
Mm.
ourselves and to the community and to our family and to
Mm.
our friends, that we're at a disadvantage when it comes to life, and when it comes to to it being in the eyes of the community, in the eyes of our
Yes.
friends, and to the eyes of our loved one. We're at a little disadvantage. So we need uh, the coping skills and our ability to cope and our ability to deal with life. We are a little behind, um, that in life, as opposed to people who didn't destroy their life, people who
Get
didn't
you.
remove themselves for society for such long periods of time. See, most people didn't remove themselves from society and become derelicts and the scrouge of society for long periods of time. When we talk about recovering addicts, when we talk about recovering persons, not everyone, but for a lot of us, we've removed ourselves from society for a long time. A lot of us became derelict. How many people do you see? I live in West Virginia, but I go down to DC and I drive down some of the streets and I see people living under the bridges And I'm seeing more. Back in the 80s, I didn't see what I see today. There are whole streets and
Mm,
there are a whole bunch of tents. Like there are whole people that have been removed from society.
mm.
Like they have been totally removed from society. They have become a society within a society.
Yeah, very
These
true.
people, when they return to society, they have to learn new coping skills. First of all, they have to learn new survival skills because now they're no longer living, they're just surviving. So when they return to society, they're going to have to learn coping skills because they have to learn now how to cope within this society that they have returned back into. Because right now they're surviving outside of society, they're living on the fringes of society, creating a new society within a society that they're learning how to survive in. So when they return to this society that we're in today, now they have to develop these coping skills to learn how to live in the society that they've only survived in for so long.
I
So
get
that's
you. I
when I
mean,
say that we're at a disadvantage. Pardon me?
I get you. I see all those people on K Street in DC that are in different
Yes,
tents. I see them in different tents in there in on K Street,
yes. And
and I
that's just
see
one
what you are
city.
saying.
These are
Many of
people
them,
all over.
yeah, I see many of them. It's a whole street that is covered with sleeping bags, and everybody having their own tent. So, and some of them inside that tent, they do a lot of things that sometimes uh, I believe in response to their addiction. So, but I get what you are saying now. Most of these people, they do what they do in those places.
Right.
The,
So that's what I'm saying.
Go ahead,
So
Sharon.
we have to, yeah. So we did. That's what I mean when I say that so as recovering addicts and persons that sometimes we're at a disadvantage. That everybody needs coping skills, but as addicts we need them a little bit more. We have to use them a little bit more because at the disadvantage of us not having um, all of the living skills that we need to have, and because we did a little bit more surviving than living for such a long period of time, when we decided to check out, because we checked out for a long, some of us checked out for a long time. Some of us, for 16
What
years
do
I
you
was
mean by
surviving, I
what do you
wasn't
mean
living,
by the word checkout?
because I checked out of reality. I didn't mean to, but that's what happened. And this is not unique what I'm about to say because I've heard it, and I didn't realize it in the way I'm getting ready until I heard somebody else share it in a meeting. I went to a party in 1984, and by the time the party was over, it was 1999.
Wow.
It's almost like you go to somebody's house, you go down in the basement and you go to a party, it's 1984. By the time you go back upstairs and you leave that party, and it's 1999.
Hmm. How many years is that? That's
I don't know, but
uh,
it's a lot.
almost 15 years.
Yes.
Wow. So, what is it that actually will you say happened that made people to go into a party 1984 and come out 1999?
I don't think anybody plans, nobody wakes up and says, I'm going to be an addict.
Yeah.
But I think what happens is sometimes there's something on the inside that's missing. Something
Hmm.
is broken on the inside. Something is missing. And there's a hole in the soul. soul, there's a God-sized hole in our soul, and we try to fill it with everything except what for me, I can't speak for a lot of people, but I can only speak for myself. I try to put everything in God's hole except for God.
Mm.
God was the only thing that could fill that hole to make it full, to
Yeah,
make it
that's true. Only
full
God can
and
fill
not
that
be empty.
emptiness.
So God was the only thing could could fill the emptiness.
So
So
will you
everything that
say
went in
it's
there only was
emptiness
a
that leads to these things?
so it's an emptiness. So God was the only thing that could fill it to make it feel full. Because
Mm.
everything else that I put in there, it still wasn't enough. Because, and when I say the emptiness, because God is the only thing that can make me understand me and who I
Mm.
am. And I never felt a part of. Even though I got love for my mother, it was not enough. Even though people told me they love me, it was not enough. Because I think we shared this on this channel before. Not this particular channel, but another channel which I spoke with you. And one of the things I said, I could be in a room with 99 people minus one that love me. And but the one person who ignored me, my mind would tell me that I wasn't good enough. That's why that one person didn't love me. Because I would listen to the voice that says, you're not good enough. That's why that person doesn't care. But what about the 99 that do care, Sharon? But for some reason, it seemed like the voice that was telling me that I wasn't good enough, the voice of that one person, seemed to somehow resonate louder than the
Mm.
99. So I always wonder what was wrong with me. So, like I told you, that grandmother that's no longer alive that said I wasn't good enough, it seemed like that voice, her voice resonated louder in my ear than all the love that I was getting from the mother that I got. And I get emotional every time I talk about it. So
Yeah, it's all
that's
right,
how much
Sharon.
of
It's
an
all
impact.
right. It's
I
all
know, but
right.
it's
It's all
okay.
right.
It's okay because I'm not afraid to get emotional no more. There was a time that I wouldn't allow myself because I wouldn't allow myself to feel. That's why the party lasts so long because we don't want to feel. Nobody wants to feel that kind of pain.
Mm.
So it's easier to put something in me so that I don't have to feel. So I don't have to let anything come out of me. So
Mm.
we push it down. That's why the party lasts so long, Pastor.
I get you.
Dr.
I get
Adebo,
you.
because I can put something on top of that. So
Mm.
we keep putting things on top. Every time that feeling of inadequacy, every time the pain, you put something on top of it.
Mm.
Anger, you put something on top of it. Um, Feeling less than, you put something on top of it. And you just keep putting stuff on top. And before you know it, it's 1999. And
Wow.
now I feel numb. And then guess what happens? In the midst of me running from those feelings, other things starts to happen. Now I'm somewhere and I'm recovering and letting those feelings. Now I get sexually assaulted. So now there's some new feelings because now I got to deal with those feelings and I push those feelings down. Now I get beat up. I got to get rid of those feelings. So you continue. So there's an endless cycle. There's this endless cycle that is created. So people think that, oh, they just don't care and their willpower is not strong enough and they're weak. No, we're not weak. No, it's not because we don't care. No, it's not because we don't know better. No, it's not because we don't love our families. No, it's because there's a lot of pain. In the midst of deal with the pain, we end up creating more pain and bad things happen to us. And because bad things happen to us and we don't know how to deal with it and we don't know how to talk to our families, and because some of our families judge us and some of our families ostracize us, then we just continue to stay out there. And the people out there, sometimes we think they love us more than our families will. And it's a vicious cycle. The cycle is vicious. And it keeps going and it keeps going and it keeps going until finally God sends somebody and that person says, hey, I'm going to take you somewhere and I'm going to get you some help. And for me, it was a 12-step program. And I went into a 12-step program and I found people who were just like me. And they
Okay.
taught me how to love myself. And
And
through the process of
that
learning how
was
to
the
love
kind of
myself,
thing, that was the network you are talking about.
yes, that's I have the best network there is. I found family that's 12-step program. And when I say family, because some of them are closer to me than some of my real family. But
Mm,
fortunate for me, I had, everybody's not as fortunate as I am. I had a
mm.
family that never threw me away. I had a mother that loved me so much. My mother never stopped loving me. My mother